Hello, everyone. I just want to take a few minutes to take you through Performance Matters. It's our new online assessment for Prince George County, and this is just a quick overview to get you guys started with assigning and creating assessments within the platform. So if you go to your ClassLink dashboard, ClassLink should be linked from your school's homepage or the PGS homepage. Log in to ClassLink. And from the ClassLink dashboard, you're going to see the icon for Performance Matters. Please click on the icon from there. Immediately, we can see our student dashboard with all of our students, and we can sort this information to where we see all of our students or by subgroups. And I can see at a glance, I have 3 students with disabilities, and I could sort those students by clicking there. Now, I could click on the individual student to see their individual progress, but right now I want to get you guys testing in the testing center. So we're going to go up here to test, click on test, and we're going to create a new test. We're going to title our test, beginning with our school, teacher name, subject area, SOL, and a quick description. This is place value. You can include an assessment description. The category, where is it going to be housed when you search for this? This is going to be a quiz. The course type, K-5 math. Grade level, by default, it should be the grade that you're assigned. 3rd grade for me. Our grading scale, the colors to give you out an alert. Administration. The administration tab, we're going to go down and select the administration window. This is important in Performance Matters. I would suggest starting with the date you're creating the assessment and go on out into the end of the school year. It's an online assessment. Scan sheets are available. I could allow students to enter and edit response. I have reporting options I can view from here. Nothing there that we need in the audit section. I'm going to go ahead and go back to my properties, and we're going to look at these 2 items. I'm going to skip add items and go directly to test format. Test format is where you're going to create sections. If you want a section with a calculator and a section without a calculator, I could add a section. Here I can put online tools for my students to have access to during the assessment. I want them to have the highlighter, the eliminator. For this particular assignment on place value, I do not need any of these math tools, but I would like for them to have the text to speech option. So this is new, folks. We have the text to speech option in our tools, and we're going to get to that through our format options. I'm going to go ahead and click OK. So I've formatted my test to have 1 section. I did not add a 2nd section, but I did add tools, including the text-to-speech function. Now let's add items. You can search by keywords, standards, resources, item assignments. The quickest way to search for me is to go right here into the search bar, type in your standard, Math 3.1. I'm going to hit enter. And the test items associated with the SOL 3.1 will come up right here in my window. I can preview them on on how they would look on the assignment. And as I go through, if I like them, I can click the checkbox and it will add those items to my assessment. I really do not care for that one. I'm going to go on down. Let me take off math and just do 3.1 here. And I'm going to do some filters over here to help me. This is going to be by Virginia SOL. And let's see what 3.1 gives me now that I've selected the filter Virginia SOL. There we go, by standard. All right. You got to remember, I'm learning this platform as I'm trying to teach you. Forgive me for having to go back. I'm going to go by standard, not keyword. I'm going to select Virginia SOL. And here I'm going to type 3.1 because that is the SOL I'm looking at. Beautiful. So I can see for Virginia Math 3.1a, this is science. I'm going to go ahead and open up this section. And that's going to open a window so I can see those questions associated with that math standard of place value. We're going from word form to standard form. That's a great question. I'm just going to go down and scroll through all of the questions here. Expanded form, here's a great one on expanded form. I like that one. So I'm clicking the boxes associated with the question. And when I'm finished, I'll be able to add all of those questions to my assessment. Here's another going from word form to standard form. And if I was doing a section, and this was the last question in my section, I could add this question here and they would know to stop and not go on. Take this one. Let's just take one more. Value of a digit. I'm going to just take those for today's assessment. So I've added those to my assessment. I'm going to go ahead and add to assessment. I can see now the questions that I've selected appear here on my screen. I can click and drag and drop the questions to change the order. Again, if this was a two-section, I could add that stop sign and drag it to the end so students know that's the end of the first section. So we have all of our items. We've been able to drag and drop them where we like them. I can remove them. I can preview them. And when I'm happy with it, 5 questions, that's a great little formative assessment. I'm going to click Save. Now, once I've saved, I've got a test ID number. I'm going to Control C to copy that. I got my test preview. I can change my permissions. I can copy this, or I can delete it since there are no student scores attached to it. Once student scores are attached, deleting will probably become a different process. I can double check all of the information here. 5 questions. I can see the different levels. I can check and make sure the naming is correct. School, teacher, subject, standard, descriptor. I'm ready to assign this to my students. So now I'm ready to assign this to my students. I'm going to head on over to the testing center. So since I've created my new test, now I'm ready to assign my test in the test center. In the test center, you're going to see all of the tests that you have access to. If you uncheck Limit to the Test Open Window, you may see more. That's one of the things that we left really large. We started from the date we created the tests, and I took this to the end of the school year. So anytime I want to retrieve that test, I'm within the window of that school year and that testing item. I can search in several ways: by the course, the subject, by the folder it's housed in, the category, or I can search by grade level. But because I have my test ID number, I'm just going to paste that there, and it's going to pull up the test I just created. I can preview the test. I can see there are 5 questions. And this is what the test would look like from the student's end. So if I wanted to do a test whole group with my students and project the test, I could go through the test functions, the tools. My students would have the opportunity to see whole group with me projecting or sharing my screen, how to use the platform in Performance Matters. I can flag the question. This is our eliminator, the highlighting tool, and that would clear all the highlighting. I can move throughout the test and the test questions. I can see how many are answered, flagged, or unanswered. And I could do this whole group if I wanted to, and students will have the ability to submit their test. All right, I do not want to go any further in the preview. I want to go back to show you guys how to assign this test to your students. So if you open preview, just click on the window that you were in before the preview opened, and you can just close that window. So now we have our test. We can edit by clicking on the name of the test. I have all of the information here. It tells me when the test was created, the course it's associated with, and if I hover over attributes, I can see the standard, Bloom's taxonomy, the subject area, and question interactions. I do not have any TEI items on this assessment. And if I click, I'm going to have that drop down and I can view that completely. All right, we're going to go on over. I can see 0 students have taken it. I have 0 scores. Actions. I can download the test. I can copy the test. But what I want to do is to release this test. Release online and paper-based. By default, all of my students will be assigned this test. If I am differentiating instruction and I only need some students to take this test, maybe I have worked with them in a small group, I feel like they're ready for a reassessment, I could assign specific students this assignment and not my whole class. But by default, everyone will be assigned this test. To assign it, I'm going to hit release. And all of my students are now assigned this assessment in their their Performance Matters dashboard. When they log in, they will see that they have an assignment assigned to them. If I'm giving this paper pencil, I can open up the pre-slug sheets, and that's going to give me the student's name. Here are their answer choices to write on, and I can either enter them manually or use the QR code, which I'm not getting into because I am just learning how to put together this assessment. We'll get into the bells and whistles later. In some of the bells and whistles, we can even embed YouTube videos and create an assessment to where students watch the video and you can create questions that go along with the video. So there are so many things in Performance Matters that we're not going to be able to see today. I just want you guys to be able to take this assessment and use it with your students. All right, so I'm going to close this now that I have released this test to my students. And if I go over here, I can look at the different options in my testing center and get live updates. This was Beasley, Crawford, math. There are my students. I can see they're assigned. And once I have student data, I'll be able to view that in reports. In the presentation I've given you guys, there are tons of webinars and quick short videos under 5 minutes that will go through every single one of these items in Performance Matters. But right now, our goal was to create a new test and to assign that test to our students by releasing it into our classroom. So guys, that's real quick, down and dirty on how you can create a new test, add items, looking at the test format. If you have any questions, please let me know. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.